Hey, let's be honest. You'd rather assemble IKEA furniture blindfolded than bring up estate planning with your parents. At least with the IKEA, the worst case scenario is just a wobbly bookshelf, not a family meltdown. So you know you need to talk to your parents about their estate plan, but just thinking about it is terrifying, right? You're picturing a huge family blowout, or worse, them thinking you're just a greedy vulture. But what if I told you there's a gentle, effective way to have this conversation? A way that actually brings your family closer and protects everything your parents have worked for. I've helped thousands of families navigate the estate planning process, so in this video, I'm giving you the exact scripts and a simple checklist to make this conversation not just painless, but successful. And stick around, I'll show you how to overcome their 3 most common objections to discussing their estate planning. This isn't really about the money. It's about honoring the people you love. It's about making sure their wishes are set in stone, their legacy is secure, and your family doesn't get torn apart by confusion and conflict when things get tough. By the end of this video, you'll feel ready and confident to have one of the most important conversations of your life. The legacy reframe. It's not about death, it's about life. Before you even think about talking to your parents, the most important work has to happen in your own head. You've got to completely reframe what this conversation is about. We avoid it because we think it's a talk about death, decline, and who gets the silverware. That's a recipe for awkwardness and defensiveness. Here's the secret. Stop calling it estate planning and start thinking of it as legacy planning. An estate plan is a stack of legal documents. A legacy is the story of your parents' lives. It's the values they taught you, the work they poured their hearts into, the family they built. The financial side of things is just a byproduct of that incredible life. When you frame it around their legacy, the whole emotional vibe shifts. You're no longer asking, so what happens to your stuff when you die? Instead, you're asking, how do we make sure your life's story is honored exactly the way you want it to be? This approach is all about respect. It shows you care about what truly matters to them, far beyond the balance sheet. And here's why this reframe is so critical. If your parents get sick or pass away without a legal plan, they lose their voice. The courts step in. State laws decide who gets what, and it might be the total opposite of what your parents would have wanted. This can kick off long, expensive legal battles, a process called probate, that can drain their accounts and, more importantly, create family rifts that never heal. Suddenly, siblings who've been best friends their whole lives are at war over a house or a sentimental ring. A stranger in a black robe is making decisions about your mom's medical care. Their legacy is left up to chance. That is the real disaster we're trying to prevent. This conversation isn't greedy. It's one of the most loving and protective things you can do for them. The general scripts and how to actually start the conversation. Okay, mindset reframed. You know this is about legacy, but how do you actually break the ice without making everyone uncomfortable? The words you use in the first 30 seconds are everything. The goal is to be gentle, supportive, and make it clear you're not trying to take control. First, timing's everything. Don't ambush them during a holiday dinner or in a rushed phone call. Find a calm, private moment where nobody feels pressured. Here are 3 word-for-word scripts you can steal and make your own. Number 1, the I'm doing my own approach. This is my favorite because it takes the spotlight off them at first. You could say, hey mom, dad, I was just working on my own will and financial stuff, and honestly, it's kind of a wake-up call. It got me thinking that I don't actually know what your wishes are. It's just really important to me that everything you've worked so hard for is handled exactly the way that you want. See? It's collaborative. You're not lecturing them. You're just sharing an experience and inviting them to talk. Number 2, the friend story approach. Using a third-party story is a great way to raise the topic without making it so personal and direct. Try something like this. You know, a friend of mine was telling me her family went through a really rough time because her parents didn't have a plan when her dad got sick. It just created so much stress. It made me realize I have no idea what you'd want in a situation like that. I love you guys, and the last thing I'd want is for us to be scrambling and stressed if something unexpected happened. This shows you're being proactive because you care about preventing stress for the whole family. Number 3, the direct and loving approach. If your family is more of the straightforward type, a direct approach that comes from a place of love can work wonders. Mom and Dad, I've been thinking a lot about the future lately. It's just incredibly important to me that your legacy is protected and your wishes are honored, no matter what. Can we set aside some time to talk about how you'd want things handled? I'm not here to tell you what to do, just to listen and help wherever I can. No matter which script you use, your tone is key. Be patient. If they get defensive, just back off. Acknowledge their feelings without something like, I get it, this is weird stuff to talk about. We don't have to figure it all out right now, but maybe we can talk about it again sometime. This might take a few conversations, and that's totally okay. The key documents. Now, your 4-part checklist, once the door is open, what do you even talk about? You don't have to be a lawyer, but knowing the 4 essential documents will help you guide the conversation. First up, the last will and testament. This is the one everyone's heard of. A will spells out how your parents want their assets divided when they're gone. It lets them name an executor, the person in charge of making it all happen, and a guardian for any minor children. Without a will, the state makes these calls for them. You want to avoid that. Second, let's talk about trusts. Think of a trust as a bucket that holds assets. A common one is a revocable living trust, which your parents control while they're alive. The huge win with the trust is that it helps their estate avoid probate court, that public, slow, and expensive process of validating a will. Trust keeps things private and gives your parents more control, like saying money should be used for education, or that a grandkid has to wait until they're 25 to inherit the money. Third, we have the power of attorney. Now, these next few ones are arguably the most important documents for planning while they're still alive. A durable power of attorney for finances lets them choose someone to manage their finances if they become incapacitated. This person can pay bills, handle investments, and keep things running smoothly. Without this, you could face a stressful court process just to get the authority to pay their mortgage. And fourth, the Advanced Healthcare Directive. This is also the healthcare power of attorney. This document states their specific wishes for end-of-life care. Do they want a ventilator or feeding tubes? Answering these questions now is a profound gift that removes the soul-crushing burden from you of having to guess during a crisis. Your goal isn't to write these documents yourself, it's just to make sure your parents know what they are and have a plan to get them done professionally. Number 4, navigating the conversation and common objections. Even with the perfect script, you might hit some bumps. It's smart to anticipate the roadblocks so you can handle them with grace. First, a pro tip. Talk to your siblings beforehand. Presenting a unified, loving front is way more effective than one person going at it alone, which can feel like a power grab. Agree that the goal is to support your parents' wishes, not to push your own agenda. During the talk, your main job is to listen. Ask open-ended questions like, have you two ever talked about what you'd want for your future medical care, or what parts of your legacy are most important to pass on? Let them do most of the talking. Now for the classic objections. Objection number 1, we'll get to it. We're not that old yet. A great response is, I totally get that, and I hope we have decades and decades more. But what I'm learning is that these documents are really for the what-ifs that can happen at any age. Having a plan now just gives us all peace of mind. Objection number 2, that's private. It's none of your business. Validate that feeling immediately. Say, you're 100% right. This is your personal information, and I totally respect your privacy. My goal isn't to know numbers or details, it's just to make sure you have a plan and that I know where the documents are and who to call, like your lawyer in an emergency. Objection number 3, oh, it's all taken care of. This is fantastic news. Respond with relief. That's amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. To make sure we can follow your plan perfectly, would you mind just telling us where the documents are and who the key people are, like the executor? I've also heard it's a good idea to review them every few years just to make sure they're up to date. Remember, the goal is to honor their autonomy. If they absolutely refuse to talk about it, you have to respect that. But by opening the door with empathy, you've planted a seed. Having this conversation is a huge first step, but actually creating the documents requires a pro. This is not a DIY project. Please encourage your parents to meet with an experienced estate planning attorney. You can even offer to help find a few good ones in their area as a way to show support. And hey, if this was helpful and you want more practical advice on family finance and building a lasting legacy, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and that little notification bell. Talking about legacy with your parents isn't a one-and-done task, it's a journey. It's a conversation built on love, respect, and the deep-seated desire to protect the people who've spent their lives protecting you. It turns something you dread into a powerful act of family unity. By reframing the talk around legacy, using gentle scripts, knowing the key documents, and navigating it all with a ton of empathy, you can turn a moment of fear into one of profound peace of mind. You're not just sorting out an estate, you're helping your parents write the beautiful final chapter of their life, their story on their own terms. Thanks for watching.